Hello, good evening. I tell you what, I'm having a bad day today. So far, we had a couple of breakdowns on the kind of on our programs. So, but thank you very much. On the radio at the moment, we've got around about 7,000 people on our radio. Wow, we are going places. Also, on the podcast at the moment, we've got around about 400. So, welcome. Good evening. And Brooklyn, hello. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Tell us about yourself.
So, my name is Brooklyn. I am from the United States. I am 16 and I have my own podcast on top of being a 4.0 student, being a published journalist, a lifeguard in training, and things like that.
Okay, so what is your podcast all about?
So, my podcast is about giving life lessons and just sharing my knowledge and experience to the younger generation in hopes that it helps them on their journey of growing up and getting out into the world. And I spread positivity and talk about mental health and mentality and things like that.
Okay, so let's start with mental health. Have you suffered with mental health?
I have had some mental health struggles in the past and somewhat recently, like last week, I feel like it's kind of an up and down roller coaster when it comes to mental health because new things happen every day and there's new stuff coming up that affects different people differently.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, because there's a lot going on at the moment with the COVID and with everybody, and I find it struggles with myself because of my weight and everything. I'm waiting for an operation and stuff, and it's just kind of like it's so stressful because you want to do things, but you can't do things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you
And it
mean.
gets you down. It gets you down. Um, with mental health, so you've had the struggles and everything. So, what do you say to these young people then?
Um, to the young people, when it comes to my podcast or just in general, I tell them to keep a positive mentality and just to go after their dreams and to do what feels right for them and not to necessarily focus on society and what society wants them to do or, what the societal path is and just to take your own path and do what you want to do and stay true to who you are.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. You are very kind of like wise. Why did you kind of like decide to do podcast?
So I decided to do a podcast because originally I wanted to start a YouTube channel, but my own, insecurities about my physical appearance and things like that got in the way of that. And I listened to podcasts a lot actually, and I just decided to make my own because I knew I wanted to get my voice and my opinions and my knowledge out there somehow. So I decided to make a podcast to do it instead of using other, social media platforms.
Yeah, because sometimes that's difficult, isn't it? Because sometimes we have body image problems. Like I've been having problems with myself, like because I'm a big person, and I've got a bit some disabilities, and I've had strokes and stuff, and and that's why my speech and everything. And sometimes we look in the mirror and we think, oh, you know, this is me. You know what I mean? And do you ever get that? Do you ever look in the mirror and think, oh, I don't like myself?
Yeah, I have times when I look in the mirror and I like what I see, and I have times when I look in the mirror and I don't like what I see. I feel like it kind of varies from day to day, but usually it's a positive thing when I look in the mirror nowadays because I've finally accepted myself and who I am.
That's it. Yeah, yeah. Um, and that's what people should do, really, because there's a lot of people kind of like actually kind of like just trying to change themselves. You know what I mean? Young people think they don't like their face, so they want to get an operation, or they don't like parts of their body, so they want to get an operation and things like that. So, what do you tell young people then when you go out to your podcasts? What do you say? What do you say to people if they're kind of like going through a bad time? Do you support them?
Yes, of course. I mean, I feel like having bad days and going through bad times is normal. And, in the days of social media, everyone puts out there the perfect moments and the good moments. So sometimes it can be hard to go through bad times because it feels like, everyone else is living this perfect life and I'm sad or I'm upset. And what's wrong with me when it's nothing wrong with you? It's just that that's how social media is constructed and everyone has bad days. So you're normal and everything's going to be okay in the end.
Yeah. And how old are you again?
16.
16. And you're a 16-year-old and you're very wise. Well done.
Thank you.
Very well done. Honestly, you're well done because a lot of many people who's 16, they just don't care and everything. But because you're caring and you're kind of like trying to help people, that's really good. That is very good. Um, and what do you want to do when you kind of like, leave like, university or college or whatever you want to do? What do you want to do?
So, as far as college is concerned, I was interested in pharmaceutical sciences, dentistry, or, anything to do with chemistry. But most recently, I've discovered that I do have a passion for real estate, and that is something that I want to actively pursue. And I'm taking the steps to get into right now.
Right. Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Have you ever thought about going into broadcasting?
Um, I honestly have not.
No, because you come over as such of a person that you should kind of like try broadcasting because you've got the attitude, you got the right attitude for it, and you're doing podcasts at the moment at your age. How many followers have you got at the moment on your podcast?
So, on my podcast, each episode averages about 400 listeners, but it is a very new podcast. So, that's good for just starting out.
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah, very good. And that's what I said because because as you go along, you build it all up and everything. So, and you're doing quite well. So, broadcasting for you, I reckon you could do well.
Thank you.
Honestly, you could do well. You can do, I think that could be a place for you to kind of like, get, kind of like, because this is just a rehearsal, isn't it, really? What you're doing, and what I'm doing, it's just rehearsal. It's better, there's a lot of people out there who just give up on things. So
That is true.
on your um on your podcast, what else do you do? Do you just kind of like chat to people? Do you interview people? What do you actually do on your podcast?
So, my podcast is a solo podcast. So, it is just me talking and discussing, but I usually come up with a topic and I talk about it as if I'm talking to one of my friends. And I kind of just put it all out there. And, I do some series on my podcast. And I had a series in February for Black History Month. Right now, for March, I have a storytelling series. So I'm telling personal stories from my life and the life lessons I've learned from them. And it's just a good time just to hang out and kind of just talk to my listeners.
Yeah, because wish I found you a couple of months ago because we were going through Black Lives Matter. We brought up that, see, because we do a lot on our podcast. We do a lot about mental health. Black Lives Matter. We do all different subjects. And what do you think about that? What do you think about the old racism thing?
Well, I am from the United States, so it is more highlighted over here than I think it is in other areas or other countries. But during the summer of 2020, there was a lot going on, and there was kind of a huge debacle and lots of protests and things like that. But as of right now, I do think things have gotten better, and it's more of a calm state because over the summer it was really hectic.
Yeah, yeah. And and what did you think about all what's going on at the moment with Trump and everything over the United States?
Well, he's not in office anymore. We do have a new president, and it's really just gone like that. I mean, there was a
So
lot
if
going
you
on.
so if you were on your podcast now and they say to you, right, talk about Trump, what would you say?
I guess I would just say that I don't agree with him nor his policies,
Right.
and it's really just left at that.
So you just come out and say that. So you come out and say that.
Yeah.
So what's your, so um what is your what do you think about people who take drugs?
About people who what?
Who takes kind of like drugs.
Um, I would say from my standpoint that usually when people do things like that, it's based off of, past traumas. And I don't, you know, necessarily think that people just do it just because. I feel like it does have background to it, especially for people who are stuck in active addiction. So I guess I would say I don't really have an opinion on it because it's very complex and there's so many different circumstances.
Right, okay, you always got an answer, damn. Right. I'm trying to get you out here. So what do you think about suicide?
Um, I would say that it's horrible, and I hate that people feel like, that's the only way out for their situation, and I wish it wasn't, a reality for so many people, but it is, and it's unfortunate, and I feel like it needs to be talked about more, and it needs to be exposed more, and we need to really highlight it and talk to people, especially young people, but, not only young people who commit suicide, there's older people that do it too, so just having an open conversation and really supporting your peers can help.
You're you're very knowledgeable, aren't you, for a 16-year-old person? You're very kind of like you know everything, but you what's going on and everything. So say if someone came up, what kind of topics do you talk about on your podcast?
I usually talk about topics relating to self growth and just growing as a person and, accepting yourself, but staying true to yourself, moving forward in life instead of moving back, staying positive, following your dreams. I mean, it
Yeah,
can
yeah.
sound cliche, but stuff like that.
Right. Sorry about that question. Now, before we go, I've got a couple of questions for you. Is that okay from different people?
Yeah, of
All right.
course.
All right. Because I've got quite a few people on here on my radio site. Right. Um, Maria wants to know. She says, "Welcome, welcome, Brooklyn. I like you quite a bit. Can you tell me what your podcast is? Because I love to follow you. Also, what do you think about people who does abortions?"
Okay, so as far as what my podcast is, it's called Sit Back and Chat, and it's available on all major platforms. The Instagram for it is at sitbackandchat.podcast, and you can see updates on latest episodes and things like that on there. And as far to answer her question, I am definitely pro-choice. I don't really have an opinion on it. I feel like if you want to do whatever you want to do, then go ahead and do that. I'm not trying to force anyone to do anything. I think, everything in life is a choice and you should be able to make those choices.
Okay. Tina wants to know: do you have a faith? Do you believe in God?
Currently, I do not have a, specific faith or anything like that. I honestly really don't really think about religion often. I grew up in a very religious setting and I feel like that kind of, steered me away from things like that, but I'm just kind of neutral. There's no opinion.
Okay. Okay. Um, Sheila wants to know: what kind of music are you into?
I love all types of music, usually older music, so, 80s, 90s, things like that, but I kind of just listen to everything from pop to rap to metal. I mean, anything and everything, I'll take a listen to it.
Okay. Okay. Um, and what's this question here? Oh, this is interesting. Um, if if a superstar wanted to come on your podcast, who would you love to have?
I would love to have either Lily Rose Depp, which is Johnny Depp's daughter. She's a model and actress. I really love everything that she stands for, and she's a very positive figure of the youth.
Right. Okay. Well done. Um, and Sarah wants to know um, what what did you go into podcast, but you already told us that. Sorry about that. People don't know. Martin wants to know: Do you have a boyfriend?
I do.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, she's gone. Sorry, you lost out. You have to wait until a queue. Isn't that right,
Yep.
Brooklyn? Yeah. There's a lot. Joe wants to know. Have you ever thought of when you're doing your podcast? Have you ever thought of kind of like doing it for what? No, forget about that. Um, if you won £1 million, £1 million, right? If you won one, if you won the national lottery or whatever, £1 million, what would you spend it on?
I would first move out of the state that I live in, and I'd move to Florida and buy a house and live comfortably and save my money.
Well done, 16 years and well done. A lot of people would spend it by like makeup and whatever. They would, wouldn't they? You know what Okay, and what do you think about the COVID situation?
I would say the COVID situation differs from, country and states, but where I live, there haven't really been many updates, but I think it's tragic how many people have died from it and things like that. And I just wish there was really a concrete answer of how we can really get this under control and, kind of move forward.
Hmm. Okay, good. Name me two things that you would take to a desert island.
I would take my phone and food.
Okay, not your boyfriend.
No, I can call him off of my phone that I take with me.
But what would happen if the phone runs out?
Well, I would use the phone to call for help, and hopefully someone would bring me back to my home.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. So you're not going to make smoke signals and anything like that, then?
No.
Right. Just take your phone. You're going to take the. But how are you going to charge your phone up if it runs out of charge?
I would hope it would be on 100% charge so I can call everyone I know, and if it dies, well, it looks like I'm out of luck.
Right. Okay. Okay. Right. Fair enough. Right. Do you read?
I do read, not as much as I used to, but I do still read.
Okay. What's your favorite topic that you talked about on your podcast?
Probably accepting yourself and staying true to yourself because that's a topic that's near and dear to my heart because I had so many struggles with that when I was younger.
Right. Okay. Well done. Um, I've got loads of them here. I'll be all night. Sorry about that. Francine wants to know whereabouts in the United States are you, and is it nice there?
In the United States, I live in Illinois, and currently it is winter. We had a blizzard a couple of weeks ago, but now it's starting to get warmer and it's transitioning into spring.
There you go. So, um, and what is the Billy wants to know? He's 17. He said, "What is the schools and colleges like over in the United States?"
I would say the colleges have a way different culture here than it does, pretty much everywhere else. I would say that the United States colleges are known for partying and a lot of, negative things, but there are some really good schools. It's just very, very hard to get into.
Yeah. Okay. Um, Richard wants to know. I saw a lot of films about teenagers and schools, especially like high school musical type thing. Do you have an high school musical type thing in the United States?
Unfortunately, high school in the United States is nothing like High School Musical, but I wish it was. It's a lot less fun.
Right. Okay. Couple more guys because I got to let her go. And well, she got it right. Okay. Um, Name me two things that you would love for Christmas.
Um, for next Christmas, I was looking at this Montclair coat. It's like $700, but that's on my Christmas wish list. And I don't really know. I guess gift cards. I love gift cards, so I could just get whatever I want.
Okay. Okay. Um, Name one song that you love playing all the time.
That is such a hard question. I I'm having a hard time listening, thinking of an answer. I would say any Ariana Grande song right now because I love her positivity and her
Right.
positive vibes.
Yeah. What do you think about her?
I really do love her music. I've started to get way more into it, and I just think there's something about her, aura that's very positive, and it really gravitates you towards, not only her music but her as a person.
Right. Okay. Brooklyn, thank you very much for your time. I know you're a busy young lady with all your podcasts and everything,
And
and
thank
I
you
love
so
having
much.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Of
Thank
course.
you. There you go. That was Brooklyn, and she was from the United States of America. Um, very wise young lady who has, a lot. She's learning a lot. She's got a podcast, so go and check her out on her podcast. In the meantime, I'm gonna say goodnight because my wife's thinking, God, I wish she'd shut up. So anyway, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna give my wife's ears a piece. She needs a bit of quiet. So I'll have to go on. So take care. Look after yourselves. Until Monday, don't forget there is no podcast at the weekend because I need a rest too. So bye bye, guys. Thank you, Brooklyn, and thank you everybody for watching. And good night, all. Bye bye.